Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We're here for the next match of the Hamilton Sevens New Zealand on home soil, taking on the Tongans, who are a side that are the invitational side for this Hamilton Sevens. Looking through at New Zealand starting lineup, it will be Sam Dixon, Dylan Collier, Brady Rush, Joe Weber, Regan Ware, Akulio Rokalisoa, and also Moses Leo. Looking through at Tonga, a side that we haven't seen too much of on the Sevens circuit. The last time they were in action, I believe it would have been either the Commonwealth Games, maybe they might have been in the Cape Town Sevens World Cup. But before that, it was actually Oceania Sevens. For the Tongans, they've got Sione Tupo, Osika, Mau, Pakalani, Ika, Tongatea, and also Tauma Falau. Now, we have seen some good little moments from Tonga throughout their Sevens ventures. They've got a tough group here, though, where they do find themselves going head-to-head with New Zealand, Great Britain, and Australia. But as long as they put in a decent performance, I think that's all that the crowd will be asking of them. I see a little bit of red in attendance at FMG Stadium. It could also be the seats. They are also red, but I believe there's a few Tongan supporters in attendance for this one. New Zealand going to destroy the Tongans. That is most likely what will happen. I hope it's closer than a destroying nature, though. And also coming to New Zealand, let's do this, says Roof. And this is all about points differential as well, I should mention. So for New Zealand, they'll want to win this game by 30 plus points. And if they don't, they'll be disappointed, because that would mean that maybe if Australia or Great Britain are able to beat Tonga by that margin and a bit more, that they might end up missing out on going through. But now it's going to be Dylan Collier going back across short side. Moses Leo breaks the line. This is going to be the first chance of the match for New Zealand, and they are going to be able to score that first try. Unfortunately, John Ika unable to catch up with the flying man out on the wing. New Zealand's own Moses Leo does manage to score the first try on New Zealand soil for the youngster in quite some time. Definitely in the World Sevens Series. Unfortunately, probably the last time we're going to see New Zealand in action on New Zealand soil after this weekend, probably for like a decade or so. Hopefully they do end up bringing it back at some point. I hope Tonga will win this one. Says Jason, what's the score prediction? I do enjoy watching Tonga play, but last time we saw them in action, it just seemed like they weren't well prepared, unfortunately. And that's nothing against the players. That's just, it seemed like all of their maybe funding / all of their passion was going into the Rugby League World Cup, which was just around the corner. Now that the League World Cup's out of the way, maybe Tonga get a little bit more attention for the Sevens department, but I'm still going New Zealand win this game by about 35. Unfortunately, the try was so fast, I didn't even see it. Says Roof. And now it's going to be nicely done by Tonga. They've got this ball in hand by the looks of it, and it will be Laulia Mau. Penalty goes the way of the Tongans, so they'll be able to take the quick tap. Pakalani now looking for the offload. Big shot from New Zealand. Now, the thing is, if you're trying to muscle up with Tonga, you've got to make sure you're doing it well, because or else then if you get your head on the wrong side, you probably won't remember the first day. Another penalty, but this time it goes in favour of New Zealand. Tried to take the quick tap there for, I believe it was Tongatea trying to take New Zealand's quick tap. Unfortunately, he's in red rather than black, so unable to do so. Rokalisoa now inside of the New Zealand 22. Tries to find the offload to Sam Dixon. Doesn't quite work out. Still a lot of pressure. Moses Leo going back across to Joe Weber. Just find himself in the starting lineup at number 11. Dylan Collier moves up to 40 metres out from the line. But the last thing New Zealand can do in this game is underestimate the Tongans. Because as soon as you underestimate your opponent, that's when we see big upsets. So New Zealand, they're still going to make sure they're playing their natural game. There was a beautiful wide pass. Dylan Collier now down the wing taking on. It is Osika one-on-one. He's knocked the ball on. And that one will go into touch. New Zealand to get 6 tries, says Ruth. I think somewhere around there is par for New Zealand in this matchup. Of course, they'd love more than 6, but yeah, I think about 6 tries or so. Because, yeah, like Tonga's defense is strong. Saw a nice little forearm to the face of Dylan Collier there as well on the way down. Maybe a bit of those tactics coming in from the Tongans. And to be fair, they need to make this game scrappy. If we're basing it off pure, I guess, rugby talent / structure, New Zealand would win that game every day of the week. But if Tonga can make it a dogfight and try and get New Zealand frustrated, make them make those little mistakes. That's going to be a penalty to New Zealand at scrum time, just driving straight over the top of the Tongan front row. Rockali Soa passes off to Joe Weber. One more now across to the hands of Regan. We're at number 64, and that's about how quick he's running at the moment. He is going to be scoring the second try of the match for New Zealand, and that will now make the score 10 points to nil with a kick to come. Going to make it 12-0 for the Kiwis. And Regan Ware scoring on home soil as well. And this will be a nice feeling for New Zealand. They've had not the greatest last few legs of the Sevens, but now to be able to come back onto home soil and really turn it up for the fans, going to be absolutely awesome. And of course, they made it through to that Cape Town Sevens final. So they have had one good leg as of late, but before that, they were really just jockeying to try and get in the top 8, and it seemed like a challenge at time for the Kiwis. I think New Zealand will get 4 tries, says Jason Adams. Currently, 2.5 minutes left in this first half. New Zealand sitting with 12 points to nil over the Tongans. Now that's going to be going up. Sam Dixon unable to take it cleanly, so that will be a knock-on against the Kiwis. It's like someone stayed down. Is that Rodney Tongatea, I think? Stayed down at the moment for the Tongans. So he goes up and gets the ball. And yeah, just... Okay, saying that it's gone back and then it's gone forward was Sam Dixon's, I guess, his way of looking at it. New Zealand won their last event here in 2020. It's been a couple years since the Kiwis have been able to get themselves a successful win on New Zealand soil. But yeah, Tongatea doesn't look too flash at the moment. He's kind of just in a ball. And I'm not sure what's happened to him because I don't believe he got hit in the head. So I don't know if it's some sort of injury maybe to the back with the way that he landed or something along those lines, maybe a leg. But normally with your leg, you'd be on your back, whereas he's kind of tucked up into a ball like that at the moment. Bit of a drinks break here for the Kiwis. Is that a roller coaster? It is. They've got a roller coaster at FMG Stadium. Jason, are you drunk or neutral supporter? Says Sanatane Tom in there as well. I mean, to be fair, Tonga, like, if they can use up a bit of time on the clock here, maybe, you know? I think anywhere between 4 and 6. In fact, we'll go 4 and 7, just because I think there might be a chance that they score another 1 or 2 throughout this half, but it is going to be the Tongan scrum now. And this is going to be tough. Eka needs to get this ball in as soon as possible. And Tonga just need to try and hang on to this one, waiting to put the ball in. And they do just that. They got it out. Beautifully done by the Tongans. Now, nice step on the outside. It's going to be Tamafalau. Lot of New Zealanders chasing after him there. Didn't have a lot of space left. And I was on just 13, bro. Says Jason there. New Zealand is going to take the win, says Chris. Safe bet, I think, that one. Imagine a Tongan comeback and they win this game like 21 points or 14 points to nil. That would be absolutely massive. I believe they'd already be $100 underdogs easily at this point in the match, the Tongans. But Toma Falau, he had a decent chance down that wing. Just didn't really have the space. Sam Dixon passes back to Rokalisoa. Now one more pass. Joe Weber, ball on the outside. Moses Leo, bit of a fumble. Oh, he's landed hard on the back of his head there. And the ball's bounced out the side. I believe it was a knock-on by New Zealand. They're going to say play on just for now. Sam Dixon going back across to Dylan Collier. The commentator's just mentioning that knock-on as well. Rockali Soa back across to Weber. And it seems like Tonga's oh, no, he's just gone straight through. I was about to say, it seems like Tonga's defence is relatively strong at the moment. And then he went straight through. And first he said New Zealand going to win. Then said Tongan will win this one, says Sanatane. Good morning, says Andy Mike. Welcome in, mate. You are doing very well. Oh, time off. We're going to be checking this knock-on. Are we? No, we're not checking the knock-on. So it will be a third try of the match now for New Zealand. That will make them 17 points to nil. Nice step, though, from Joe Weber, just sending the ankles the wrong way. It was Ikaiti, I believe it is. did end up getting stepped in that case. Now that will be kicked over by the Kiwis, and they will lead 19-0 going into halftime. Now, I will mention the next live stream that we have got after this one will be taking place at 12:30. That's a lie. I think we've actually got a women's game that takes place before that one that I was mentioning. One moment, we'll have to have a look at that. The women's sevens not too far away from firing up, of course. When's the next game? Women's, they've got the quarterfinals there, but that's not useful. The women's games. I've got the schedule on my phone. I know we've still got another 9 matches that we are covering today, though. So the next game that we have got is actually going to be at 11:22, and that will be Great Britain versus Fiji. And Jason, it means after 5 years you will drink, says Sanatane. And I said New Zealand is going to win, that's for sure, says Jason. There as well. They are just showing on the other game at halftime, 12-all between USA and Japan. That is a brilliant performance from the Japanese right there. Because if they're able to get themselves a win over the 4th ranked USA as the 15th ranked side, that would be massive for them. Okay, Tonga in their huddle at the moment. Need to have a big second half because New Zealand, 3 tries, 3 visits to the opposition, 22. So that is the risky side of things. Tonga need to try and stop that from happening. Yeah, at 11:20, we've got Great Britain versus Fiji. At 11:44, we've got New Zealand versus Papua New Guinea for the women's side of things, which will be an awesome match to see the women's Papua New Guinea side in action. And then after that, it is going to be South Africa taking on the Spanish. I believe that's the next game we've got. And Samoa and Tonga should verse, says Chris. Well, here's the thing. If we do see Samoa miss out on their quarterfinal, which means that they would have to lose to France and Fiji, if they did, then there's actually a chance these two sides could verse each other. But it's optimistic. Oh no, what just happened to him? He just got crushed, unfortunately. He ended up underneath the breakdown there, Dylan Collier. And oh, there we go. Hey, says Brandon, welcome back, mate. At least 7 minutes left. New Zealand 19-0. But yeah, it would be quite cool to see the two Pacific Island sides go head-to-head. We saw it in the Rugby League World Cup. That was absolutely awesome to see them in action for that one. Now New Zealand with the little grubber, Regan Ware has that one set up for Sam Dixon. 22 metres out. Here comes Ware again. Nice flick out the back. And this will be another try. This time it is the number 44, Roderick Solo, who has only recently come on the field, although they want to check it just to make sure that he hasn't gone into touch. They are checking try or no try here. It should be try, I think. I'm no TMO, but I don't think he was that close to the touchline. This is where this sentence that I've just said backfires. Yeah, he's fine. About a metre in or so. Now, Roderick Solo, very happy man, even though he's not smiling. You can tell on the inside that he's smiling. Regan, we are very much involved. And now I go back to my live stream. Oh, I've done 2 live streams. I also do this game, says Brandon. Yeah, very nicely done down the wing by Roderick Solo. New Zealand 24-0 now. So the kick was unsuccessful, which, of course, they won't be too happy about not getting that kick over, but it does happen sometimes. Gone for the short kick there. New Zealand taking it nicely. Oh, sorry, Tonga taking it nicely, and New Zealand just stealing it out the back. Oh, players getting tipped on their heads. Naroi Makavi Black has scored the try. I'm not sure what was happening back there between New Zealand and Tongan players, but they were just going after each other. And watch the blitz box, says Rian. And there as well. Yeah, the blitz box, they're going to be a tough side to beat, I think, in this competition. We saw in their first matchup, they did pretty well up against the Canadians. Was 5-all in that game as well, and then just well and truly escalated in that second half. We'll see South Africa next game up against Spain. That will be at 12:38 p.m. New Zealand time. And then their last game of the day will be their hardest of day one, and that will be up against Argentina. Should also be a very good game, but that is a successful conversion. New Zealand now sitting 31-0. To say it's not looking good for Tonga is an understatement. If they score one try, I think they'll be happy enough with that. I know that it hurts if they do lose this game by such a margin, but just to score once to cross the line, New Zealand just is too good. And there's our says Chris. Definitely up against, well, that's the thing. Tonga only an invitational side, so they don't get a huge amount of opportunities on the Seven Circuit. I believe the New Zealand versus Papua New Guinea game that has taken place in about an hour and a half's time will be very similar to this, and that is going to be a very one-sided affair. But if Papua New Guinea score in that game, you know that Papua New Guinea, anytime they're in a sporting match, like their fans just get behind them, and they'll keep on supporting them no matter what. So hopefully that's the same with Tonga. I bet the Tongans breaking their TV, says Jason Adams. Although they would have been expecting this to a certain extent. It's nice to say they have a good chance, but oh no, it's another try. Unfortunately, just a handling error from Tonga off a kick in behind. Did end up fumbling it, and Brady Rush now runs in for another try for New Zealand. The pressure that New Zealand are putting on the Tongans here is very impressive. And it's something they're going to have to make sure they do up against the Australians and Great Britain a little bit later on today. Brady Rush doing very well to shield the ball from the Tongan defender. Very nicely done. Right, it's going to be kicked off long, or kicked off. Sorry, it's going to be converted long. And also, we have, sorry, my Tongan brothers, RIP. They don't have a chance, says Jason. And there's yeah, it is a shame, but like I mentioned, all it takes, like you look at someone like Spain, Uruguay, any of these sides that I'm listing, you look at what a little bit of support for their like sevens system, a little bit of funding can do. It's whether or not the Tongans, one, have the funding that they want to put into the sevens, and B, want to put it into the sevens, or whether they prefer to go for a more, I guess, lengthy competition such as the Rugby League, World Cup, Rugby Union. The good news with sevens is if you can get yourself on that series and that circuit, like you've always got games. At the end of the day, you play about 12 weeks of the year. You get a World Cup similar to Rugby Union and Rugby League. And yeah, it would just keep them active on the Rugby 7 circuit. I think Fiji versus Great Britain game will be interesting for sure, says Sanatane. Oh, sorry, Fiji. Is that a nickname for Tonga? Maybe. I know that Fiji don't play Great Britain till later if they make it through. Is that it is what it is, Tongan, says Jason. But now on the halfway line, a good attacking opportunity for the Tongans. Try and break their way forward. Nice step there from the number 10. He's probably been the pick of them at the moment, Pakalani. Tonga going off to their left. It's just everything's forcing them backwards at the moment, although nice run from John Ika. Loose ball, jumped on by Tonga. Another loose ball, another penalty. Goes to New Zealand. Like they've said, a good bit of hustle from the Kiwis. Try and put them under more and more pressure there. Nice break up the middle for the Kiwis. 1 minute left on the clock. 38-0 at the moment. It's a double blow of the whistle. It's going to be a yellow card for Tonga. The last thing that they wanted in this game, Sione Tupou did. I think that was just frustration for Tonga, really. Nothing. Oh, well done by the referee to be able to duck under that one. Shay Clark passes off to Regan Ware. Now to Roderick Solo. Kicks it in behind, waits for the bounce. It's going to be a knock on by him. And now Tonga looking to attack again. Will be the number 3, Hui Hui. Came off the bench. Now inside of the 22. Good step. Almost able to hurdle over the tackle attempt. Another attempt. New Zealand considering stealing it. Is told to leave it by the referee. Grubber attempt. Little bit too obvious, unfortunately, for Tonga that he was going to try and kick that one in behind. Now 15 seconds left. New Zealand get themselves another penalty. 10 seconds on the clock. Leroy Carter was running the drinks in the first half. Now out there on the field. Inside ball. Passes off to Rohi Magavi Black. And that will be the last try, I would think, of this matchup for the Kiwis. And that will take them up to 43 points on the board. Still with the kick to come, they can find themselves sitting at 45-0. This kick is successful, which it should be. Nice, easy one out in front for McGarvey Black. So you'd have to say this game probably about par with what to expect in this matchup. How many tries did New Zealand get in the end? They managed to get themselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tries in this matchup. Not too bad at all, but that kick has gone over, and that will be the end of the contest. So I do thank you all very much for tuning into this one. The next live stream that we have got starts at about 11:20 a.m. New Zealand time. That will be Great Britain versus Fiji. So yeah, that will be the next match. Can't expect to see us live on the Kiwi Lads channel. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you all for the next